Hello, good evening, and welcome back. Thanks for tuning in and spending a little time with us. Another beautiful day in the neighborhood. A little luck of the Irish, we'll say. Happy St. Patty's Day to you all. And it's been nice, not as warm. And it was actually a rather cool 68 degrees earlier today. It was showing 68. The thermometer felt a bit chilly, I guess, by comparison for the last couple of days. Nevertheless, we're going to continue to see that trend. And as I was expecting, temperatures have even dropped a little further for your weekend forecast. And still a good chance of some flakes to fly on your Sunday before Easter. We'll have all of the weather information. We'll also talk basketball in a minute, boys Sweet 16 updates, Johnson County Fiscal Court coverage, and a portion of the McGoffin County Fiscal Court meeting from yesterday as it pertains to discussion centered around the McGoffin County Library Board. Little else to discuss besides those headlines tonight. There is one report, though, that comes out of Floyd County tonight. And it also deals with a ruling issued today by the Kentucky Supreme Court. At the heart of the issue is what responsibility and or liability do schools bear if a student commits suicide while or after being bullied at school, and also the death of a shy teenager with a bit of a stutter, in this case from Floyd County. Sheila Patton sued on behalf of her son, Stephen. He fatally shot himself in his bedroom in 2007 at the age of 13. The mother said that her son suffered routine bullying at the Allen Central Middle School and that 4 teachers, 2 superintendents, and the principal at least knew about it but did nothing to stop it or try to intervene. And after lower courts ruled with or in favor of the defendants, the Kentucky Supreme Court agreed to hear the case. The family lost that appeal today, with the Kentucky Supreme Court saying that the family failed to offer enough or sufficient proof that the 8th grader was bullied at the school. The court wrote that school administrators were entitled to qualified immunity from the family's lawsuit, but such protection did not extend to teachers. The court's interpretation, however, could have some factors in future cases. That, of course, we will have to wait and see. Stephen's family claimed that several teachers and administrators were negligent because they knew or should have known of the bullying he suffered in the school's halls and cafeteria. The family also said the anti-bullying policies in the school and the system were both inadequate and not followed. Johnson County Fiscal Court met in regular session this week. Some discussion about the Code Red warning system, of which I think we're all a fan. Not so much that it doesn't work, but maybe there is a better alternative out there. And a lot of residents facing a lot of issues from drainage and other situations. And it looks as though what might be a blessing for the county in regards to the old landfill and for residents in a large area of Johnson County as well, as a multi-million-dollar sewer project looks to be happening. Early on, the court recognized County Court Clerk Sally Conley Holbrook and accepted more than $128,000 in the clerk's final settlement to the Johnson County Fiscal Court, with revenues of just over $6.345 million for the year. Representatives of the Johnson County Conservation District, Treasurer Roger Murray and member Greg Mead, presented the plan of work and annual budget for the upcoming fiscal year to the fiscal court. Representatives of the Johnson County Rural and Secondary Road Program also made a presentation to the fiscal court and the judge executive, saying that based on the fuel tax collection for the fiscal year, they anticipated generated revenue for Johnson County of $1,098,000. That is $152,000 less than last fiscal year. There was some discussion about the Code Red warning system, the storm warning system, similar to used in other counties, including McGoffin County. There was a bill presented to the fiscal court for $17,000 for a 2-year renewal of the contract, or $8,500 a year. Judge Daniel and Emergency Management Director Gary McClure both expressed some reservations, though, about the program. Not that it didn't work, but rather that there might be a better alternative.
Is for Code Red to make those phone calls to people that have signed up. I don't know how many of them have actually signed up for that. Don't have those numbers before me. But they're getting their information. Code Red's getting their information from the National Weather Service, same as everybody else.
Correct.
And then they're charging us $3,100 to. People could do the same thing with National Weather Service. They could call them and get on their list, and National Weather Service would call them. But I know this has worked in some occasions. I don't recall. I got one today, as a matter of fact, over the potential for a heavy thunderstorm, and we didn't get it, thank goodness. But I still am not convinced that that is the best expenditure of our money, but we've got a lot of people that like it and want to continue to do it. So I'm not opposing it. I'm just saying I think there's some issues there that we need to come to grips with at some point in time.
What I would recommend, and like the judge said, you know, there's a lot of people that like it, you know, and I think on occasions the weather warning is good, you know, and it cuts down a few minutes of getting the word out, you know, to the public. But at the same time, if you all decide and approve to go ahead, you know, and approve this, you know, I think what we need to do, and I'll take that task on, is maybe try to research some other avenues between now and this coming November. Okay. To see if there's more of these type notification systems ever done.
After discussion, the fiscal court voted to approve the code red warning system for another year, which runs back from this past November of 2015 through November of this year. A vacancy on the Johnson County Health Department board was filled after the judge made a recommendation of Roger Massingale to serve, of which the court confirmed. There was later discussion of the Rockhouse Fire Department and the authorization to finalize a project that will see a generator installed at that location. Total cost $49,000 with a FEMA grant program or a FEMA program to pay 75% of that, the state to pay 12%, and the county fire department itself coming up with the remaining 13%. And an update on a sewer line project from which we have kept you up to date on for over the past several months. A company volunteered to apply for funds to lay sewer line to remove waste from the old Van Leer landfill to keep the county from having to continue to pay to haul it off and have it disposed of, as well as a sewer line project that would serve many residents in the Van Leer area of Johnson County.
We have progressed to the point now where this project has been funded. The project it's going to be a little in excess of $2.5 million if we can get this thing hammered down.
Where's that location at?
Pardon?
Where's that location?
It's located for the sewer line. Right now, the Paintsville City sewer, the closest sewer they've got in that area, Don, is at Paladition. It stops at Paladition, at West Van Leer, I guess, actually. But they have their lines in Paladition going down to West Van Leer. This would come from the landfill all the way up number 5 at the head of Van Leer, up the hill past where you go to Loretta Lynn's home place, almost going across the hill into Martin County. There's the old Johnson County landfill has been there, and my God, it was closed back in the 90s and 30 years ago. It's when it was supposed to be closed. I closed it when I came in 2000. But we still, we have to collect the water in tanks and have it pumped and hauled and disposed of that way. This project would extend the sewer line from West Van Leer down there, from Paladition, all the way up 302 and I guess, what is that? Miller Street, all the way up Miller Street to the landfill, and that's probably 3 or 4 miles. I don't remember exactly how far, but it's almost a $3 million project.
The judge explained that the line, for the most part, will follow the right-of-way, and they're at the point where they need to contact about 18 property owners that will be involved, either contacting them individually or through a public meeting about what he called a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the county as a whole and certainly the residents of this particular portion of the county. One of the last to address the court was Greg Mills, a resident of the Tudor Key area, specifically in Homestead Estates, who says he and fellow residents have been experiencing a drainage problem that he believes was created by the land developer in the area, saying that water has been diverted into abandoned mines since the development of that property. And he says that residents are basically in the middle of the situation, the developer calling it a county responsibility, while the county says it's that of the developer.
as I said, I live in Homestead Estates, and we have a tremendous drainage problem there. And in the last year, or within a year, we had water issues, major water issues out there twice. Once in August, and once again last year in July. And I know that at least 8 houses had water either in them or under them during that issue. And there's about 20 houses out there total. The problem is, and this is the second neighborhood that I've lived in since I've lived in Johnson County for the last 12 years. And both neighborhoods I lived in had the same type issue. The drainage was done by the developer, and it was not properly done. And I don't know, again, I didn't come prepared to speak, so I don't know if there's rules and regulations and permits that these folks have to get. If there's not, I would ask the court to consider putting some kind of rules in place for people who are going to develop property, that they have to meet certain requirements for drainage. I had an engineer come out and look at our area out there in Homestead Estates, and he said, I don't even have to put the pen to the paper. I can tell you the drainage out here does not meet it, will not get it done.
When he came to the road department asking for adoption of those roads into the system, they adopted them as is. I mean, he already had the construction built. We do not have a mechanism like you mentioned. We don't have planning and zoning, which very few counties and rural counties in the state of Kentucky have planning and zoning. Now, every city almost in the state of Kentucky does have it. I don't know why cities do it and counties don't, but that's kind of the way it is. And I don't know, short of planning and zoning, where you would establish criteria for roads and drainage and so forth, I don't know how you resolve that issue.
The judge and the county attorney said they thought this might be a civil issue between the property owners and the developer. They also said, however, it may involve the Division of Abandoned Mines, who Mills said residents had already contacted about a year ago but had no contact with since. The judge offered to call the Division of Abandoned Mines to try to find out what their input was going to be. And following that discussion, the meeting was adjourned. For high-speed internet starting at 15 meg for all of your gaming, movie, home, and business solutions, or to watch TV, including your favorite local channels without a contract, with hundreds of channels and digital and HD quality, and to stay connected 24/7 with friends and family, a direct line to 911, or to give your business the link it needs, choose telephone service you know is always there. Just click on their link on this site to find out how affordable the latest technology in communications can be. Foothills Communications. The McGoffin County Fiscal Court met in regular session yesterday afternoon. We'll pick up other business on tomorrow's program. Tonight will center around the following discussion after Judge Charles Hardin acknowledged a lot of strong emotions on the subject of the library board and the tearing down of the old Sayersville First Baptist Church house. He then asked the court to consider a petition to putting the decision on the ballot for the community to vote at large as to whether or not to dissolve the library board altogether.
There's a lot of strong feelings both ways about the library board. I'm not sure how much strong feelings are, and one way or the other, depends on who I talk to. I would like for the fiscal court, and we don't have to do it today, to consider the following option. If we obtain 10% petition of 10%, then they put it on the ballot, decide if people are satisfied and want to continue. That way people make the decision. Once and for all, we put it behind us. So as long as we have the petition in some Tuesday in August, so essentially by August, then it would be put on as a referendum. The referendum would state the following: are you in favor of dissolving the library board? In the meantime, I would like for either an agreement or ask the county attorney to not have anyone proceed with anything until we decide if the people want to vote on it or not. Just sit still till we find out. And that way the people can vote. We need to get this over one way or the other.
Yeah, Judge, I think the circuit court entered an order last week. Some of the parties here are probably more familiar with that than I am. I looked it up on the internet. It looked like they had a hearing Then maybe you was over April 1st on that, where she'd already entered order, be it stayed, nothing to happen on that until April 1st.
What
So I
I'm
think it's
saying is,
kinda moved.
let's see if there's enough people that want to vote on it. If there's not enough people want to vote on it, then the issue is already settled because people have said, I'm not interested in voting. If there is enough, you put it on the ballot, it passes, we are through with the library, forever. If it doesn't pass, then let people agree with what the library is doing. And I think that that would be the only fair way that I know to do it, to get a sense of what the people want. Because people have some strong feelings both ways, very strong feelings. That way everybody'd have to abide by, I'll sign a petition if we don't, but I don't know how I would vote right now. I don't have strong feelings one way or the other about it. But let's get it over with so we don't have to sit and keep bringing this issue up and letting that issue divide our community. So I want the board just not to do anything till we meet here the next time, and that way we can see if there's enough interest for people to do a petition. If they're not, then they're not. And we proceed with the other. Does anybody have a opposing to that, or does anybody see anything we could do better? Because if you don't get it takes about 10% to around 1,100 signatures to put on the ballot.
I don't know.
I think you said 10. It's 10%.
I've never had to deal with referendum.
Now the other special districts, it
Well,
takes
like I said, I think
50%.
it's moot until the circuit judge acts, because, I mean, basically, it's a whole junction of
Yeah, it's
ordering
going
them all,
to
so.
be determined by the
By
attorneys,
the time
attorneys and the
time to go
judge.
through the process that the
Then we
state would
can
require to do,
find
be
out,
past
people
that
can
time.
tell us in the meantime, tell your representative if you're interested or not.
Yeah.
And if we're not, then we need to just put it behind us and go on. Because we shouldn't let that one issue divide the whole community. Because, Barb's on the board, and she's trying to do the best she knows how to do. I think everybody's really got the community's interest at heart. So let's figure out what the community wants. Based on, because, you can really figure out how people feel about you when I get behind that podium booth.
We, of course, Judge, we have, of course, two desires, two factions of desires. Is someone desire to have a new library, and someone desire to keep the church. So that's the rub that we can't seem to resolve. But as I told you earlier, our group would be willing to buy the church tomorrow for the price value.
My problem is this: I want to make sure that if there's that kind of ground
Yeah, I
that
understand.
we deal with it. If not, I want the people in Frankfurt to stop saying I can tell people stuff, but now this is just for you. There is nothing that should be told to a board that shouldn't be public. So but I know how Frankfurt works.
Yeah, we've
Let me tell you something about Frankfurt. The backbone is inversely related to how close they are to the people they're talking to. When they're up here, their backbone ain't near as much as it is when they're in Frankfurt. So what I'm saying is, say, if you are telling us you're not going to give us $1.5 million, then come out and tell us that. Don't hint around to it. Don't say, I can tell you this, but it's off the record. This is democracy. It's not off the record. They work for us, not the other way around. I work for the people in McGough County. The people in Frankfurt work for me and everybody else. So if they've got something to say, they need to say it. Because if they come back and say, look, this is $1.5 million, you're just going to flat lose, and that's a different equation. But if somebody is hinting that it is, that's different. They can hint all they want. I don't want to know. Tell me exactly what you want to say. I want to.
It's my understanding that, as Judge Harden was referring to, that if 10% of the registered voters of McGoffin County, which equates to a little more than 1,000 registered voters, sign a petition asking that the question or referendum be placed on the November ballot, then it will be. And he proposes that question to be for the voting public as to whether or not they would dissolve the library board as a whole. We'll keep you up to date on any developments in this, of course, and any other local happenings. I was going to the community calendar announcements at this moment, but I've got a few words from a few folks we want to play first. Translation is I'm getting my calendar announcements together. So I'll be right back after this with calendar announcements, your weather forecast, and how the Sweet 16 turned out for our Eastern Kentucky team, the Lawrence County Bulldogs, earlier today. Stay tuned. I know a late tip-off tonight for all of us Cats fans. That means an early morning tomorrow. Right now, though, let's get you caught up on high school basketball and the Sweet 16 at Rupp. The 15th region champions, the Lawrence County Bulldogs, seen here defeating Johnson Central in the finals. We're in the Sweet 16 today in the first round. Let me build up to that, though. Not in exact order, but pretty close. Buckhorn went down to Murray 35-62. Trinity out of Louisville fell to Newport Central Catholic 33-48. Paul Lawrence Dunbar squeaked one out over Mercer County 58-55. Bowling Green came out on top over Elliott County 76-59. And Lawrence County fell 57-66 to Doss. I mean, Lawrence County, first ever state appearance, first ever regional title. What an amazing team. What an amazing performance. Hometown crowd still has to be proud of these guys. South Laurel squeaked one out against Christian County in the 1:30 tip-off game, 53-50. And first round action continues on throughout the rest of the evening. Taylor and Mason counties and South Oldham and Owensboro Catholic will round out first round. So no one in the viewing area, and our really only Eastern Kentucky team of the mountains does come home after the first round, but still had an incredible year and still has a whole lot to brag about, including, of course, historical first ever 15th region championship title. That means Lawrence County wraps up their season now officially at 29 wins and 4 losses, and, of course, still, as they were, undefeated in the region. And, of course, Butler, the ladies from Butler, won the girls' title over Franklin County 62-36 earlier in the week. Here's a very short and sweet Licking Valley RECC forecast as I am out of time. Pretty sweet for at least a little while. 35, mostly clear tonight. Yeah, 35 degrees. Going to be a colder morning tomorrow. West winds still 5 to 18 miles per hour. I've got a 9-mile-an-hour wind out there right now. I'm clocking with a gust of 14 just a few moments ago. 63 degrees tomorrow is where we'll climb, about 5 degrees off the mark from today, with a low of 38 tomorrow night. Mostly sunny. Clouds will increase into your Friday night with some showers likely mainly after 4 a.m., so technically not until your Saturday morning, well into your Saturday morning. Showers are likely on your Saturday with daytime highs right around 43, and then maybe some rain, maybe a few snow showers late Saturday night leading over into your Sunday, with newly adjusted daytime highs for the latter half of your weekend at 41 chilly degrees, kind of like winter. Still here. 31 for nighttime lows, still a 40% chance of precipitation, and that could go, depending on the temperature and time of day, wet or white. No accumulating snow, just a few flakes to fly about and remind us, hey, another blast of winter is, right around the corner. Maybe the last one, though. 40s for your Monday forecast and low 60s Tuesday. Stands right now, I'm going to be hard-pressed to get in all the news and information on tomorrow's program that I have to leave you with before the weekend. So be sure and join us for that. And, of course, it will be news that you'll only find here on Your News Today. For now, thank you for watching. Have a wonderful evening, and see you tomorrow.